Mr. Scary Studios. Number 1.
So I've been reading a lot of stories on this subreddit recently and have procrastinated posting my own, but I've decided to now, so here it is. So my school has a sister school in Japan, and we hold a foreign exchange program every year. I went last year, and it was the best trip I've ever been on. I stayed with a student and his family near Yokohama, and there was only one bad experience in the time I was there. We were going to visit Sea Paradise, a theme park in Hakajima, and going to meet up with a friend of mine and his host family. On the train, however, there was a strange man who I assumed was drunk, or on some kind of drugs. He kept putting his thumb up at me, which was friendly enough, so I did it in return, sort of an I'm okay motion. I expected him to leave me alone after that. However, he kept dancing around the carriage and singing quietly. He almost fell over a few times when the train stopped, which was rather amusing. After this went on about 15 minutes, a massively muscly American guy boarded the train and yelled at the man to leave me alone. He asked me if I was alright and told me that there were some creepy guys that hang around that area some of the time, and not the first time he'd seen them. I think that creepy man assumed I was alone because I was being a relatively small 13-year-old Australian kid, did not look anything like Japanese host family on the train with me. He probably saw this as a chance to try and abduct me or something, seeing as I looked undefended. I'm still not sure what the American man meant by what he said, but to me it sounded like this was not the first time something like this had happened. I hope the man doesn't return to pry on more children, but somehow I doubt it. So creepy drunk, Japanese, train man, let's not meet again.
Number 2.
Okay, I have been engrossed in this subreddit, and I've decided to share a creepy experience with you guys. I have plenty more to share if you would like. A bit of a backstory: I'm a 70-year-old male living in the New South Wales, Australia. I'm half Asian and in a way female looking. I'm around average height and very thin. I have what you call emoski hair. So this happened about 2 days ago. I live in a typical Australian suburb. Nothing out of the ordinary in Australia where I live. There is a lot of heavily wooded areas as well as very swampy areas. So here it goes. Me and all my wisdom decided to go for a walk. The area I went isn't frequently traveled to, as it's very rural. It is where the new housing estates are getting built. I love this area as it is so picturesque and quiet. Now I'm walking along listening to music. It's about 40-ish minutes from my house to there. And you have to go through a lot of bush land. I should mention my neighborhood backs onto a industrial estate which is in decline. I walk there. It's quite a normal day until I see a bunch of what I look like construction workers talking to each other, occasionally glancing at me. I thought nothing of it and kept on my merry way. Now this area, my safe haven, is on the fringe of both of what used to be industry and new houses. Where I always sat and looked into the distance, there was always a fence. I never went past it because of the barbed wire on top of it. That day I felt adventurous and saw there was a gap in the fence that led beyond. I cheeked on the workers, and in case they saw me, they were gone, so I went through. This is where it began. I walked for a solid 7 minutes into the area when I sat in the grass to admire the view, when I heard in a male's voice, "What the fuck it get to? Where the fuck did it get to?" I was freaked out a little as this was a reserve, and I thought I was caught too. I dashed away into taller grass. Another male said, "We know you're here. Come out. You're not in trouble." I was in full panic mode, like who would say that to someone, especially a stranger. I glanced at the people calling out for me, and no surprise they were fucking workers from the site. I assumed they must have followed me. Come out, little rabbit, we won't hurt you." "Well, not much," said the raspy female-sounding voice. I glanced at these workers. One had a roll of duct tape, another a rope, and the female had a large wrench. I was taught as a kid how to get away from strangers in cars, but nothing of this fucking caliber. I grab a piece of large sandstone from the ground. I hurl it towards the grass far away from me. They go running, stupid fucktards, I thought to myself. I book it down through the long grass and climb the fence into the industrial estate. As I'm over the fence, I see the workers on top of the hill pointing at me. They leg it towards me. "Oi, come back here." I proceed to nope and fuck out of there by my house. I haven't seen these people since, but what frightens me the most is I'm pretty sure they thought I was a girl. I don't know what their intentions were, but they weren't good at all. So creepy, obliviously fake workmen, let's not meet again.
Number 3.
Okay, so I am on my phone. Please forgive me for my mistakes on structuring of this. Okay, so when I was 17, I was always in Yahoo chat rooms. I was chatting with people in the local Seattle rooms. Well, this one guy and I chatted a lot and decided to meet. We met at Herfy's for lunch. When he showed up, it was very obvious the guy lied about everything, his age and what he looked like. The guy even admitted that he lied about having a job, and he showed up to Herfy's on the bus. So after we eat, I say it was nice and I have to go. As I walk away, this guy starts following me. I walked to the burger joint because I didn't live very far, and I didn't want this guy to follow me home. My mom was a flight attendant and was out of town. My mom had about a week left until her days off from flying. So I really did not want this weirdo knowing where I live. I started telling this guy I had some appointments to take care of, trying to shake him off from following me. But he insisted it was okay. He would just go with me to the company. Not knowing what else to do, I stopped at the bus stop and waited for the bus downtown Seattle. He stopped too and got on the freaking bus with me. The whole ride, he kept trying to talk to me by asking me all sorts of questions. I would answer with the bare minimum and fill in with lies, because I didn't want him to know things about me. At one point, he tried putting his arm around me, and I just leaned away. So he tried putting his hand on my thigh, and I told him I don't know him well enough for him to touch me. I felt sick to my stomach the whole bus ride, trying to rack my brain with what the fuck to do once I got downtown. Once downtown, I walked over to the building where my best friend's mom worked. Since I knew the layout of the building, I could play it off. I told him I had to use the restroom. I asked a woman at the cafe there if I could use the restroom. She agreed. Okay, let me explain that there is a delivery service door outside. It leads to this hallway, and this hallway has doors that lead to all different shops and to a service elevator to take things and merchandise to other stores on the upper levels. Okay, so I exited the cafe through the back door, exited the cafe through the back door and into the hallway, and left the building out the door next to the docking bay. I took this as my chance to make my way to a bus stop to go home. I was going to take the express bus and just get off at the airport instead of the other bus that takes forever. Well, as I make my way to the bus stop, I see the guy in the cafe still waiting for me. I managed to make it on the bus and never saw the guy again. However, a few nights later, I was on Yahoo Chat again when someone messages me and I told him I wanted to see a picture to know who I was talking to. He sent one. I see the picture and instantly pick up the phone and call one of my friends. The friend I call, his mom and aunt were really good friends with my mom and aunt, and our grandmothers had been close friends too, back in eastern Washington, before either of us were born. So he answers and I start talking to him. Hey, are you on Yahoo Chat right now? No. Why? Someone is trying to talk to me and they gave me a picture of you claiming it was them. Well, I go back to talking to the guy online and he admits it's not a picture of him. He admits who he is, and he said he felt we had a great connection but lost me when we went to downtown. He started to profess his love to me and everything. I cussed the guy out and told him I lost him on purpose. Then I changed my Yahoo name and never met anyone on Yahoo Chatroom in person ever again. Creepy internet clingy guy, let's never meet again. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.